Michael, a beautiful view of the capital. Oh, it's nice to see you. Caught me admiring the view. So, last time my magical cameraman gave me a recording, we did a bit of dungeon delving and we visited the capital. Today, I may have found another place to raid. And maybe we'll head down to Brazil. Found it on the map that I bought. So, it's time to be. And here I was gonna say very sneaky. I swear I trained in that. Sounds like the creaking bones of the undead. Personally, I prefer bandits. You definitely don't want to get swamped by the undead. My great-grandpa Rafnir got killed by undead. My great-grandma had to put him down. Not a pretty sight. Where have the undead gone? Where could they be? Sounds like we're good to run. got ghosts. Like with the undead in general doesn't stand a chance against me. Oh, hell no. I ain't trying that. Doesn't really appear to be anything else here. You know what? If this is the only thing that was being protected, I should at least try. Not worth all of those picks I lost. Not worth them one bit. Oh, whole new area. Hello, boys. Lead me. Bad. No. Leave me alone, damn it. Is it me, or does this place look kind of like a church? Wonder what the fuck they worshipped here. Now this time, it truly does appear to be everything that's here. So, we went through there. Here we are. Now, if we look at the map that I've acquired, we should be traveling down here and making our way to Breville. Hopefully, we don't run into anything that could kill me. Because I would rather this adventure not go so easily into the history books as another dead adventurer. I do believe we go this way. I really should have spent someplace at the nut for the night. God. More pure, refreshing mana. Ain't nothing better for the tired bones. I feel like a man who's already went to bed. Sorry, Wolfie, but that's how this cookie tends to crumble. Yep, Breville. You know what we could do with another adventure? That last one was a little short. For my liking. Are these mud crabs? Holy shit, they are mud crabs. What are mud crabs doing in a ruin? Oh! Ho 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 ho! Ho 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 ho! You know, considering I was warned by one of my family members to watch out for traps, I really should start doing that. That could have easily been my adventure's end. Oh, life and death. I haven't been that close since I fought a Netch over in Morrowind. It stole my food, you know. Bloody hell. Nearly mangled my left leg. Couldn't walk for a month after that. I'm sorry, what? Okay, if it died there, I don't want to be there. I thought this would be adventurous, not me going against traps. I swear if anything kills me in here, Smabb, you ought to use magic, rewind time, or whatever it is you do. 'Cause I don't need to die down here.
That would cost significant resources.
I don't care. I'm not dying down here.
Umbra shall feed.
Oh, no. Please tell me I didn't hear that right.
Ha! Ha! Rah! You're pathetic.
Magic, save me.
Am I supposed to be impressed? Ha!
Thanks for stopping time. I need a potion.
Am I supposed to be impressed? Ah! I'm just warming up, you pathetic worm. Ha! You'll never take me down.
On magic. Save my life. Holy shit. Alright, I need to get rid of stuff. But there's just something so tantalizing about that armor. I must wear it. And that weapon. What is happening to me? Thirst. We thirst. Thirst for what? Souls. But why? We are umbra.
What's happening? What's happening, man? You gotta talk to me.
I'm hearing a voice.
Whatever it is, don't listen to it. Just think of books.
My books. My books. Give in to the thirst. Oh, must think of books. Must finish real Baronzaya. You don't need books. You need umbra. Now, if anything, you need me. Without me, you can't have hunger. We will use you as we see fit. No. You are my armor and my sword. What are you doing? Dispelling your foulness. What? Dispelling everything that you are. Through the power of magic. Restoration magic. You can't do. I'll do whatever the hell I want. I don't hear it anymore. But I feel it. From now on, I'm gonna have to be careful. Because that was dangerous. Thankfully, restoration saved my ass. Wait. Ah, shit. I had to... Umbra made me get rid of my shit because it made me too heavy. Right. Hopefully it didn't get rid of all my books. Good lord. I came in here for adventure, not to get saddled with a cursed armor set. I'm gonna have to battle that every day, aren't I? Shut up! Leave me alone! Dispel your foulness! Ugh. Everything about that was horrible. Maybe I can find some help from deities and Bruma. They must have a church. Beautiful view. Shame I got that thing in the back of my skull. Hissing away. Shut it. Is this map right? Threw me close to a bend. Become a murderer. I will not commit wanton violence. But we need it. You need it. I don't. Be gone, foul voice. Stop it! I will eventually take your soul. Wait, you saying wait? I am you now. No, I don't believe you. That looks like a shrine. I mean, godly intervention. Or at least, some powerful magical intervention. Smabb, why can't you do anything?
Sorry, man. Time magic is my thing, along with major invisibility. What you're asking is like god level stuff.
That makes me feel a lot better. I have clarity of mind again. For how long? Well, I'm gonna need sleep, and I need a bed. And if the gods' protection is strong enough, I should be good for the night.
Well, I'll be a spotted snow bear, a customer. Hell, we got plenty of rooms if you want one.
I would like a bed.
A bed? Well, of course, of course. I've got a small room available right upstairs. First door on the left, only 10 gold. What do you say?
Oh,
All right, then,
I'll
you're
take
all
it.
set. Remember, first door on your left.
thank you.
Farewell, and tell your friends, the Inn of Ill Omen is open for business, as always.
And if I find any, I will. Not much for a bed, but it's better than nothing. At least I can focus on the books. We were on volume 3. I think of books. The mantra. Books are everything. Books is why you adventure. Books is everything. Books is why you adventure. Knowledge is everything. Let's get into the books.
Alright. I hope that you'll keep this at bay while I read this book. Because if you don't... Ah, dear God. I don't like what I'm gonna have to do next.
If you're gonna have to do something drastic, then do something drastic.
Very well. The Real Baron Zaya, Part 3. Written by Anonymous. For several days, Baron Zaya felt a weight of sorrow at her separation from her friends. But by the second week out, her spirits began to rise a little. She found that she enjoyed being on the road again, although she missed Straw's companionship more than she would have thought. They were escorted by a troop of Red Guard knights with whom she felt comfortable, although these were much more disciplined and decorous than the guards of the merchant's caravan she had spent time with. They were genial but respectful towards her, despite her attempts at flirtation. Samachis scolded her privately, saying a queen must maintain royal dignity at all times. "You mean if I'm ever to have any fun?" she inquired petulantly.
Not with such as these. They are beneath you, your graciousness. You are desired, They are beneath you, graciousness. It is to be desired from those in authority, my lady. Familiarity or not, you remain chaste and modest while you are at the Imperial City.
Baron Zaya made a face. I might as well be back in Darkmoor Keep. Elves are promiscuous by nature, you know. Everyone says so.
Everyone is wrong. Then, some are, some aren't. Everyone is wrong. Then, some are, some aren't. The Emperor and I expect you to display both discrimination and good taste. Let me remind you, Your Highness, that you hold the throne of Mournhold, not by right of blood, but solely at the pleasure of Tiber Septim. If he judges you unsuitable, your reign will end ere it begin. He requires intelligence, obedience, and discretion, as well as the loyalty of all his appointees. And he favors chastity and modesty in women. I strongly suggest you model your deportment after our good Drellenic, milady.
I'd as lief be back in Darkmoor, Baron Zaya snapped, resentful and offended at the thought of emulating the frigid, prudish Drelane in any way.
That is not an opinion, Your Highness. If you are of no use to Tiber Septim, he will see to it that you are of no use to his enemies either,
the general said pretentiously.
If you would keep your head on your shoulders, take heed. Let me add that power offers pleasures other than those of carnality and cavorting with base company.
He began speaking of art, literature, drama, music, and the grand balls thrown at the imperial court. Baron Zaya listened with growing interest, spurred on not entirely by his threats, but afterwards he asked timidly if she might continue her studies of magic while at the imperial city. Samachis seemed pleased at this and promised to arrange it. Encouraged, she then said that she noted three of their knights escort were women, and asked if she might train a little with them. Just for the sake of experience, the general looked less delighted at this, but gave his consent, though stressing it would only be with the women. The late winter weather held fair, though slightly frosty for the rest of their journey, so that they traveled quickly over firm roads. On the last day of their trip, spring seemed to arrive at last, for there were hints of a thaw. A road gently muddy. The road grew muddy underfoot, and everywhere one could hear water trickling and dripping faintly but steadily. It was a welcome sound. They came to the great bridge that crossed into the Imperial City at sunset. The rosy glow turned to stark white marble edifices of the metropolis, a delicate pink. It all looked very new and grand and immaculate. A broad avenue led north toward the palace. A crowd of people of all sorts and races filled the wide concourse. Lights winked out in the shops and on in the inns as dusk fell and the stars came out singingly by the twos and threes. Even the side streets were broad and brightly illuminated. Near the palace, the towers of the immense Mages Guild Hall reared toward the east. Well westward, the stained glass windows of a huge tabernacle glittered in the dying light. Samachis had apartments in a magnificent house 2 blocks from the palace. Past the temple of the One he identified as they passed it, an ancient Nordic cult which Tiber Septim had revived. He said that Baron Zaya had been expected to become a member should she prove acceptable to the Emperor. The palace was quite splendid, although little to Baron Zaya's taste. The walls and furnishings were done in utter pristine white, relieved only by touches of dull gold, and the floors in dully gleaming black marble. Baron Zaya's eyes ached for color and the interplay of subtle shadings. In the morning, Samachis and Draylane escorted her to the Imperial Palace. Baron Zaya noted that everyone they met greeted Samachis with a differential respect, in some cases bordering on obsequiousness. I don't know that word. I probably butchered that. The general seemed to take it for granted. They were ushered directly into the imperial presence. Morning sun flooded a small room through a large window with tiny panes, washing over a sumptuously laden breakfast table and the single man who sat there. Dark against the light, he leapt to his feet as they entered and hurried toward them. "Ah, Samachis, our most loyal friend. We welcome your return most gladly." His hands held Samachis' shoulder briefly, fondly, halting the stop of the genuflection the dark elf had been in the process of effecting. Baron Zaya curtsied as Tiber Septim turned to her. Apologies. "Baron Zaya, our naughty little runaway. How do you do, child? Here, let us have a look at you. Why, Samachis, she's charming. Absolutely charming. Why have you hidden her from us all these years? Is the light too much, child? Shall we draw the hangings? Yes, of course." He waved aside Samachis. Protests and drew the curtain himself, not troubling to summon a servant. Oh no, I'm getting hiccups. No. What a time to gain hiccups. Bad indeed. Yes, bad indeed. Shut up, shut up. You will pardon us for this discourtesy towards yourselves, our dear guests. We've much to think of, though that's scant excuse for hospitality's neglect. But, pray join us. There's some excellent nectarines from Black Marsh. They settled themselves at the table. Baron Zaya was dumbfounded. Tiber Septim was nothing like the grim, gray, giant warrior she'd pictured. He was of average height, fully half a head shorter than the tall Samachis, although he was well knit of figure and lithe of movement. He had a winning smile, bright, indeed piercing blue eyes, and a full head of stark white hair above a lined and withered face. He might have been any age from 40 to 60. He pressed food and drink upon them, then repeated the question the general had asked her days ago. The question as to why she had left home. Had her guardian been unkind? "No, Excellency," Baron Zaya replied. "In truth, no, although I fancied so at times." I'm doing the wrong voices. Yes, yes you are. So am I. Get on with it. Quiet. We told you to be quiet. In truth, no, although I fancied so at times. Smartus had fabricated a... Oh, this is just narration! Shows how good I am at understanding what's what. In truth, no, although... No, it says I. No, I'm just gonna read it like my voice. I fancied so at times. Smartus had fabricated a story for her, and Baron Zaya told it now. Although with a certain misgiving, the stable boy, Straw, had convinced her that her guardians, unable to find a suitable husband for her, meant to sell her off as a concubine in Rihad. And when a red guard had indeed come, she had panicked and fled with Straw. Tiber Septim seemed fascinated and listened raptly as she provided the details of her life as a merchant caravan escort. "Why, 'tis like a ballad," he said. "By the one, we'll have the court bard set it to music. What a charming boy you must have made." General Samachis. "Oh, I wish it would tell me which one," General Samachis said. Baron Zaya stopped in some confusion, then proceeded. He said, "Well, that I no longer look much like a boy, I have grown in the past few months." She lowered her gaze in what she hoped approximately was maidenly modesty. "He's a very disconcerting..." Wait, let me reread that bit. "He's a very discerning fellow. Is your loyal friend, Samachis." I feel like there's supposed to be a page between there. "I know I've been a very foolish girl, Excellency. I must crave your pardon and that of my kind guardians. I realized that some time ago, but I was too ashamed to go back home. But I don't want to return to Darkmoor now, Excellency. I long for Mournhold. My soul pines for my own country." "Oh, dear child, you shall go home, we promise you. But we pray you remain with us a little longer, that you may prepare yourself for the grave and solemn task with which we shall charge you." Baron Zaya gazed at him earnestly, heart beating fast. It was all working just as Samachis had said it would. She felt a warm flush of gratitude toward him, but was careful to keep her attention focused on the Emperor. "I am honored, Excellency, and wish most earnestly to serve you and this great empire you have built in any way I can." It was the polite thing to say, to be sure, but Baron Zaya really meant it. She was awed at the magnificence of the city and the discipline and order evident everywhere, and moreover, she was excited at the prospect of being a part of it all. She felt quite taken by the gentle Tiber Septim. A few days later, Samachis left for Mournhold to take up the duties of a governor until Baron Zaya was ready to assume the throne, after which he would become her prime minister. Baron Zaya, with Draylane as chaperone, took up residence in a suite of rooms at the Imperial Palace. Several tutors were provided her, all in the fields deemed seemingly for a queenly education. During this time, she became deeply interested in the magical arts, but she found the study of history and politics not at all to her preference. On occasion, she met with Tiber Septim in the palace gardens, and he would unfailingly and politely inquire as to her progress, and chide her, although with a smile, for her disinterest at matters of state. However, he was always happy to instruct her on the finer points of magic, and he could even make history and politics seem interesting. "They're people, child, not dry facts in a dusty volume," he said. As her understanding broadened, their discussions grew longer, deeper, and more frequent. He spoke to her of his vision of a united Tamriel, each race separate and distinct, but with shared ideals and goals, all contributing to the common weal. "Some things are universal, shared by all, sentient folks of good will," he said. "So the one teaches us we must unite against the malicious and the brutish, the mistreated, the miscreated, the orcs, trolls, goblins, and other worse creatures, and not strive against one another. His blue eyes would light up as he stared into his dream, and Baranzai was delighted just to sit and listen to him. If he drew close to her, the side of her body next to him would glow as if he were a smoldering blaze. If their hands met, she would fingle all over as if her body were charged with a shock spell. One day, quite unexpectedly, he took her face in his hands and kissed her gently on the mouth. She drew back after a few moments, astonished by the violence of her feelings, and he apologized instantly. We didn't mean to do that. It's just, you are so beautiful, dear, so very beautiful. He was looking at her with hopeless yearning in his generous eyes. She turned away, tears streaming from her face. Are you angry with us? Speak to us, please. Baranzaya shook her head. I could never be angry with you, Excellency. I love you. I know it's wrong, but I can't help it. We have a consort. We have a consort, he said. She is a good and virtuous woman, the mother of our children and future heirs. We could never put her aside, yet there is nothing between us and her. No sharing of the spirit. She would have us be other than what we are. We are the most powerful person in all of Tamriel, and Baranzaya, I think I am the most lonely as well. He stood up suddenly. Power, he said with sublime contempt. I'd trade a goodly share of it for youth and love, if the gods would only sanction it. But you are strong, vigorous, and vital, more than any man I've ever known. He shook his head vehemently. Today, perhaps, yet I am less than I was yesterday, last year, and 10 years. I feel the sting of my mortality, and it is painful. If I can ease your pain, let me. Baranzaya moved toward him, hands outstretched. No, I would not take your innocence from you. I am not innocent. How so? The Emperor's voice suddenly grated harshly, his brow knitted. Baranzaya's mouth went dry. What had she just said? But she could not turn back now. He would know. There was straw, she faltered. I was lonely too. I am lonely, and not as strong as you. She cast her eyes down in abashment. I guess I'm not worthy, Excellency. No, not so, Baranzaya, my Baranzaya. It cannot last for long, but you have a duty toward Mournhold, and a duty toward the Empire. I must tend toward mine as well. But well we may, shall we share what we have, what we can, and pray the One forgives us our frailty. Tiber Septim held out his arms, and willingly, Baranzaya stepped into his embrace. You caper on the edge of a volcano, child, Drayleen admonished as Baranzaya admired the splendid star sapphire ring her imperial lover had given to her to celebrate their 1-month anniversary. How so? We make one another happy. We harm no one. Samad just bade me be discriminating and discreet. Who better could I choose? And we've been most discreet. He treats me like a daughter in public. Tiber Septim's nightly visits were made through a secret passage that only few in the palace are privy to. Himself and a handful of trusted bodyguards. He slavers... words. He slavers over you like a cur his supper. You have not noticed the coolness of the Empress and her son toward you? Baron Zaya shrugged. Even before she and Septim had become lovers, she'd received no more from his family than bare civility. Threadbare civility. What matter is it Tiber Septim who holds the power? But it is his son who holds the future. Do not put his mother up to public scorn, I beg you. Can I help it if that dry stick of a woman cannot hold her husband's interest even for a conversation at dinner? Have less to say in public, that is all. She matters little, it is true, but her children love her, and you do not want them as enemies. Tiber Septim has not long to live. I mean, Draylene amended quickly at Baron Zaya's scowl. Humans are short-lived, ephemeral. As we of the elder races say, they come and go as the seasons, but the families of the powerful ones live on for a time. You must be a friend to this family if you are to see lasting profit from your relationship. But how can I make you see truly? You who are so young and human-bred as well, if you take heed and wisely, you and Mournhold are like to live to see the fall of Septim's dynasty, if indeed he has founded one. Just as you have witnessed its rise, it is the way of human history. They ebb and flow like the inconstant tides. Their cities and dominions bloom like spring flowers, only to wither and die in the summer sun. But the elves endure. We are as a year to their hour, a decade to their day. Baron Zaya laughed as she knew the rumors abound about her and Tiber Septim. She enjoyed the attention, for all save the Empress and her son seemed captivated by her. Minstrels sang of her dark beauty and her charming ways. She was in fashion and in love, as if it was temporary. Well, what was not? She was happy for the first time she could remember. Each of her days filled with joy and pleasure, and the nights were even better. What is wrong with me? Baron Zaya lamented. Look, not one of my skirts fit. What's become of my waistline? Am I getting fat? Baron Zaya regarded her thin arms and legs, with undeniably thickened waist, and the mirror with displeasure. Draylene shrugged. You appear to be a child. Young as you are, constant pairing with a human has brought you to early fertility. I see no choice but for you to speak with the Emperor of it. You are in his power. It would be best, I think, for you to go directly to Mournhold, if he would agree to it, and bear the child there. Alone? Baron Zaya placed her hands on her swollen belly, tears forming in her eyes. Everything in her yearned to share the fruit of her love with her lover. He'll never agree to that. You won't be parted from me now. You'll see. Draylene shook her head, although she said no more. A look of sympathy and sorrow had replaced her usual cool scorn. That night, Baron Zaya told Tiber Septim, when he came to her, of their usual assignation. With child? He looked shocked. No, stunned. You're sure? You're sure of it? But I was told elves do not bear at such a young age. Baron Zaya forced a smile. How can I be sure? I shall fetch my healer. I shall have my healer fetched. The healer, a high elf of middle years, confirmed that Baron Zaya was indeed pregnant, and that such a thing had never before been known to happen. It was a testimony to His Excellency's potency, the healer said in sycophantic tones. Tiber Septim roared at him. This cannot be, he said. Undo it, we command you. Sire, the healer gaped at him. I cannot. I may not. Of course you can. You incompetent dullard, the Emperor snapped. It is our express wish that you do so. Baron Zaya, till then silent and wide-eyed with terror, suddenly sat up in the bed. No! No, what are you saying? Child. Tiber Septim sat down beside her, his face wearing one of his winning smiles. I am sorry, truly, but this cannot be. Your issue would be a threat to my son and his sons. I shall no more put it plainly than that. The child that I bear is yours, she wailed. No, it is now but a responsibility, a might be, not yet gifted with a soul or quickened into life. I will not have it so. I forbid it. He gave the healer another hard stare, and the elf began to tremble. Sire, it is her child. Children are few among the elves. No elven woman conceives more than 4 times, and even that is very rare. 2 is the usual number. Some bear none, and some only 1. If I take this one from her, sire, she may never conceive again. You promised she would not bear with us. We've little faith in your prognostications. Baron Zaya scrambled naked from the bed and ran for the door, not knowing where she was going, only that she could not stay. She never reached it. Darkness overtook her. She woke in pain and a feeling of emptiness, a void where something used to be. Something that used to be alive, but now was dead and gone forever. Drelane was there to soothe the pain and clean the blood that still pooled at times between her legs. But there was nothing to fill that emptiness. There was nothing to take the place of the void. The Emperor sent magnificent gifts and vast arrangements of flowers, and came on short visits, always well attended. Baron Zaya received these visits with pleasure at first, but Tiber Septim came no more at night, and after some time, nor did she wish him to. Some weeks had passed, and when she was completely and physically recovered, Drelane informed her that Samachus had written to request she come to Mournhold earlier than planned, as it was announced that she would leave forthwith. She was given a grand retinue, an extensive trousseau befitting a queen, and an elaborate and impressive ceremonial departure from the gates of the imperial city. Some people were sorry to see her leave, and expressed their sadness in tears and expostulations. I'm not going to pronounce that right. But some others were not, and did not.
So he had her child ripped from her against her will. I swear if I see that bastard, I'm putting umbra through him.
Hey. This probably happened a long time ago and is history. This Tiber Septim may not even be alive anymore. And remember, it's history. You don't fuck with it.
History. Books. I need to get rid of this curse.
And we will. We will. But for now, you need rest.
Yes. I guess we say the goodbyes. Without further ado, I'm Stuart Ergin, book hunter.
And I'm Smabb, the magic cameraman.
And I am Umbra.
And we are signing off. See ya. Have a great day. And continue to have